Hey everyone, my name is Eric. Today I'm here to go over several aspects of a thing called My Viking Journey. For those of you who do not know what My Viking Journey or MVJ is, it is a website or web page that can be found on Viking's main website, no matter if you select the river, ocean, or expedition cruise pages. I will show you how to sign in on it if you are a first-time user and how to add your booking number so that you can access all of the forms you need to fill out, pre/post extensions, payment excursions, and a lot of other useful information. I have come across quite a few people on Facebook groups that have booked a cruise with Viking and have very little clue how to book excursions, how to make payments for their cruise, or to find the frequently asked questions. With this video, I hope to cover most of the information that a lot of people seem to be seeking and make it easier to find this information. Some of the information is a bit difficult to find on this page, but if you click through all of the tabs, you eventually find what you are looking for. With that being said, let's go check out My Viking Journey and see how to use it. We'll see you there. All right. Welcome to the main Viking website that most of you are probably going to come to when you come to their website. Now I will show you how to access My Viking Journey from this page. Up here to the left, we have the rivers section, oceans, and expedition section. You can click on any of those three and it will take you to the main page for those cruises. I will select ocean since that's what I have currently have booked. It will take you to this page. And if we come up to my trip up here, you look off to the left, you will see My Viking Journey. Click on that. It will take you to this page. And there's some information on here, but I don't really look through this at all. I just go over to this little red box here, visit My Viking Journey, click on that. It'll take you to a sign-in page. If you already have an account, you already know what to do. If you don't have an account, come down here towards the bottom, create your account. Now, once you have logged in, you will come to a page that looks something like this. And when I say something like this, if you notice the bottom half of this page is all blurred out, I did that because you will not see what is beneath this. You see this British Isles Explorer with a nice picture. That will not be there if you don't have a cruise with the booking number put in. So if you want to add a booking number, you come up to this welcome with your name. Click on add booking number right here. Okay. You add your booking number. Click you accept terms and conditions. Add. Click add. And now you will see a page that looks like this with all these little tabs below the picture and other information. If you have more than one cruise, so let's say you have 2 ocean cruises or an ocean cruise and a river cruise, you come up to your welcome, your name up here, click on the arrow, and right down here below the booking number and the account, it'll list all of your cruises right there. You can click on each cruise. So one might say British Isles Explorer, one might say Viking Homelands, another might say Christmas Markets. You click on each one of those, it'll take you to a different page with a different picture for that cruise. So if you want to look at Christmas Markets cruise, and the little picture over here says British Isles Explorer, you're not on the right page. You have to come up here and select your other cruise to go to that individual page. Now, if we come down to this white box, which will be right below the picture, of the cruise you're taking. You will see the direction you're going. So for this cruise, it is Bergen, Norway to London, England. You will see the dates of your cruise. You will see your booking number. You will see the guest over here in the middle, and you will see the days until you leave for your trip. This says 127 days. If I come back tomorrow, it's going to say 126 days. So it's a little countdown to help you get more excited for your trip. And then below this white box, we have these little, I call them tiles. You have the payments and cart tile. You have manage my air tile, travel requirements tile, the extensions tile, shore excursions tile, guest documents tile, before you go tile, calendar tile, and onboard experience tile. If you scroll down just a little bit, the bottom, if you have questions that you cannot find in any of these tiles, you have the Find Answers red button down here at the bottom. You can click and find almost any question you may have. If you can't, there are Facebook groups that you can also find questions in, or you can contact Viking as well. So we are going to start off in the payments and cart tile here. Click on this, and this will take you to the cart. So this is where, if you, let's just say you book your cruise directly through Viking, it will show you how much money you have to pay towards your cruise, your down payment, if you have Silver Spirits package you purchased, or you have excursions you purchased. This is where you would come to check out. And up here, you have your payment methods. Once you click on payment methods, you can come over here, add an account, which is where you can save a savings or checking account, so you can get your 3.3% savings on any of the purchases. Unfortunately, you cannot save a credit card. It's only with a savings or checking account that you can do this. If you come down here to available vouchers, well, if you book with Viking or sometimes a travel agent, they will give you shipboard credits or vouchers to spend on board for being a returning cruiser, or they just want to give you some extra money to spend on board for using that travel agent or whatever it is. You can come down here and see how much you have in shipboard credits and vouchers for each individual person, and you can use these on Silver Spirits package, or you can use it on excursions and some other purchases. Now if you come up here, you also have onboard credit card. Click on this. This is where you can save a credit card that you can use on the ship. So instead of having to carry a credit card around the ship, you just enter your information here and go to a shop. You go purchase a drink aboard. They find your room number with the picture of you next to it. They click charge this room, and this is the credit card they would use. All the information here you can see that you need to put in. You can also come down here, click this share my credit card with the person in your room, or you don't have to do that. You can add a completely separate credit card for the other person as well. Now we come over here to the manage my air tile. This is where you can see what flights and seats you have been assigned or you have chosen. If you don't like the flights shown, you can contact Viking or your travel agent and see if you can get something better. All of the important information regarding your flights is located here. Click on this, and I'll say air booking up here. We scroll down. You can change your seats. You will see where you're flying out of and where you're going into, airline booking number, the plane, the dates and times, your seat over here, your returning flight information, all the information is the same other than the booking numbers. You scroll down, you have the same information for the other person in your room if you're traveling with someone else. Now, if you click on preferences up here next to air booking, you will get all of this. You can select that you want window adjoining seats, aisle adjoining seats, aisle window, or aisle across seats. You have sections for the first person in your cabin and the second person in all these different categories: redress number, known traveler number, airline, frequent flyer number. You can check if you need wheelchair assistance at an airport, if you need a special meal for the plane ride, or you can request a meet and assist if you know you're going into a fairly busy airport and you know that you have a kind of a tight window to get to your next gate. You can request someone to help get you to your next gate. Now, just a couple of heads up / warnings to be aware of. Just because you select you want aisle seats, aisle across, doesn't mean you'll get them, because there might be 6 people from Viking that want this specific aisle seating. And if you've been on an airplane, you know there's not that many seats that can accommodate everyone from your trip that may be flying on this plane, or people from all across the country and world that also want those same seats. Also, if you have service like Global Entry, you will have to put in your known traveler number, which is where you can get TSA pre-check and you can skip the big lines at customs when you come back into the country. I put my known traveler number in here for my last cruise about 3 months before my cruise, figuring that Viking would go and put that into the airplane information section. Viking did not put that information in. So when I showed up to the airport, got the tickets, I noticed that the TSA pre-check writing was not on the tickets. And I asked them about it. They said they had none of that information in the system. Luckily, I brought my card and showed that to them. So they just quickly entered the known traveler number, and we got TSA pre-check, which allowed us to go through security in basically 10 minutes instead of waiting 30 to 45 minutes in the big line. If you want to put your known traveler number in, you are better off going to the website of that airline or the app and putting that number in yourself, just so you have that peace of mind knowing that you will have it when you check in. Okay, now we are going to look at the travel requirements tile here. As you can see, there's only one kind of link here, which is Explore Safely. Click on the Learn More. Takes us to this. This gives you some information on travel protection plans. Viking offers travel protection plan administered by TripMate, and you can click right here to learn a little more if you decide to use that, or you can go with a completely different insurance plan. Down here we have a section on vaccines that are sometimes required depending on where you're going, or highly recommended. I'd highly suggest clicking here to figure out if there's something you need. If you're going to like Brazil and the Amazon area, this is a good little place to look, see what you may need to get. Down here, you have travel requirements, just to kind of make sure you're up to date on any vaccines. Make sure your passport is valid for about 6 months after you will come back. If you're not, you may have to rush and try and get an emergency passport. Then you have the onboard area, the small ships, just a little explanation of how many guests there are on the ships. Here it talks about purified air, the medical services on board, housekeeping on board, dining and entertainment on board, spa and fitness little section, onshore, talks about the guides a little bit, and then a Viking health and safety program. when it's been updated. That's about all you're going to find here. Nothing super important, but something to check out and see if there's anything you need to know. All right, now back on the home screen of My Viking Journey. We will now go down to guest documents right here. Here you will have the guest information form. It's something that everyone needs to fill out prior to traveling with Viking so they can confirm your travel documents. Once you fill it out, you will see. So we have all this information. Some of these boxes are required. Some of the boxes are not required to be filled out. Once you fill out all the required information, you will see a completed right next to your name. You can click on each individual person to fill out the different information. Down here, you have your passport number, country of birth, expiration dates of passport, all that stuff. You can put travel insurance information if you want. You don't need to, but it's just something that's available. All right, the next little link we have is information for your cruise. Click on learn more. You have passports right here. You can click on this for passport processing times. It gives you all the information. Your passport must be valid for 6 months beyond your planned trip dates. It's just in case you get stuck in the country, your passport is still good in case something were to happen. It has information on visas, if applicable. For some countries require you to have a visa. Some countries you don't need a visa at all. Passport assistance, Gen Visa link right here. Services fees will apply. Down here, a lot of people have been talking about the ETIAS, European Travel Information Authorization System. You have a link right here that will take you to all the information you need to know about that. You'll need to provide proof of ETIAS prior to your flight and prior to boarding. At the time of this recording, it is not required, but it will be required eventually. Below that, you have ETA, which is travel to the United Kingdom. You have a link right here for how to apply for that. We scroll down, we have air travel emergency contact. So let's say there's a snowstorm or something happens, a plane breaks down, you can contact the numbers here and figure out how to get another flight to wherever you need to go. Down here we have the baggage policy, a link on weights and additional airline luggage restrictions. Bunch of other information down here that you can use as well. You have a little blurb about luggage shipping, which Viking uses Luggage Forward. Some people don't use this because they find it to be a little expensive. Other people love using it. Totally up to you if you want to use it. Here we have the dress on board. Tells you what's acceptable for dress and the swimming areas, fitness areas, the specialty dining restaurants, or the buffet restaurant. If you're wearing jeans for the specialty restaurant or the main restaurant, there's a good chance they will turn you away and tell you that you need to change in order to eat there. Sometimes it's not strictly enforced, other times it's strictly enforced. Down here we have packing suggestions. Talks about religious sites because sometimes excursions go to religious sites and people don't always consider needing to wear pants or something that covers your shoulders or your knees when going to a mosque or a church. Also has a link right here for a PDF on the prohibited items. Here we have carry-on suggestions so you can get through security a little easier. Another section here on money matters. It says a shipboard credit can be used towards gratuities, stuff like that. Foreign currency and credit cards. You have some information here. ATMs, PIN numbers, credit cards with magnetic strips may not work at automated overseas ticketing machines. So there's just something to be aware of. Make sure you have a chip, PIN type cards, or contact your credit card company if you have questions about traveling abroad. A lot of places accept credit cards, but you may need to get some actual currency for some of the places you visit. Down here, we have gratuities and tipping. You can pre-purchase gratuities here if you want, or you can pay at the end. China cruise tour, little information here. You have duty-free limits and prohibited items. You have a little link here. You have Silver Spirits beverage package. Tells you the cost right here and a bunch of other information. 50% discount for premium tasting events. 30% discount on premium beverages, including bottles of wine. So you have all of that information. You have special occasions, a little information here. Your health and well-being information here. Contact information. So a lot of information just to kind of skim through, see if you need any of the information for your trip. Now, if we scroll down just a little bit, we come to passenger ticket contract. Click on learn more here. This is a 17-page PDF file, which everyone loves to read. There's a lot of important information if you decide you want to read this. A lot of people probably won't read this, but it is definitely here if you need to understand something about cancellation policy, what Viking's insurance covers if you want to receive some money back from canceling your trip, or if it goes to a credit for a future trip. This will be covered in all of these pages right here. A lot of fun reading, as you can see how fast I'm scrolling through this entire thing. All right, next we have the passport section. Click learn more here. If you looked at the previous section, it covers passports a little bit, and you notice that your passport is about to expire in the next, let's say, 4 months, you can click right here for a passport application, and it will take you to the U.S. passport application process. You can get or replace passport, or you can prepare to apply here. All of the information you will need for your passport is on this page. Next, we will finally cover the visas section on this page. Click right here, and it will tell you every single country at this time where you need a visa. Some of the countries you will specifically need to apply for a visa yourself. The other countries, Viking will apply for the visa on your behalf. Down here at the bottom, you have USA and Canada Generations Visa Service, UK visas, Australia visas, New Zealand Visa Assist. And it says, please take a moment to review your visa requirements. And Viking is not responsible for obtaining visas nor advising guests of passport, visa, or other immigration requirements. If you're unsure of what to do after you've read all of this, you can contact Viking just to be sure. And here there's a Generations Visa Service link that is all this information. So river cruises, visa kits, Viking Ocean visa kits, and it has all this information for ETA up here. You have information, ETA here, Brazil visa. Please make sure your passport is valid for 6 months beyond your trip, like some of the other sections have already covered. That is it for visas on this page. Now that we've finished up with guest documents, we will head on over to shore excursions right here. And this is what you will see when you get to this page. As you see up here in the red, shore excursion bookings for me do not open up until February 15th, 2025 at 12 o'clock p.m. Pacific time. The date of this recording is January 26, 2025. So I have a few more weeks until I can book the actual excursions. See here, Bergen, day 1. This is actually embarkation day. It shows excursions down here, but I will say I've had several cruises with Viking in the past where no Viking excursions are provided. So I will go to disembarkation day here. This is what there's a good chance of you seeing when you come to the shore excursions page. You'll see down here at the bottom, we are sorry, but there are currently no shore excursions to view on this day. That's because everyone is flying into the embarkation port or traveling from their pre-extension areas. Everyone's leaving the ship, so they don't have time to always offer excursions, but some excursions can be. So if we go here and you do not see any excursions like you do here, I would go and click on the second day, provided that it's not a sea day. You will see even more excursions, or you can go on the third day and you will see excursions as well. As I talked about earlier, on the main screen of My Viking Journey, you saw that there's 127 days left until embarkation day. So you are able to see all of the excursions that are available. If you decide to come here and you see this page for embarkation day, you go through all of these other days, no excursions show up. That is because you are farther than 150 days out from your trip. Once you get to 150 days or lower from your trip, you will start seeing excursions like this. If you are someone who wants to try and plan ahead to get some ideas for excursions and none of this is available, you can come over to the main Viking website, and I just come to the British Isles Explorer main page where it has all of the information and it gives you all of these ports. Can't remember which one, but there's some ports here that are not actually offered. So it says Kirkwall here on day 6. Day 6 here, it says Scrabster. So if you come here to day 6, over to the read more, you will see all of these excursions that you can so-called choose from. Now let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 excursions that you can choose from on day 6 of this journey. But if we come over here to My Viking Journey, click on day 6, there is only one excursion available, that's included. So just because you are over here on My Viking Journey, looking through all these amazing excursions that you could potentially do, once you get over to actual excursions on My Viking Journey, maybe 80% of those excursions aren't even available for some stops, or if there's 12 excursions for, let's just say, Edinburgh, there's 12 excursions on the main Viking website, you may come over here and only see 8. So just be aware of that. You can use British Isles Explorer, go back to the overview, Edinburgh. You may have all of these excursions may be available. Some of them might not be available, or they may decide to throw an extra excursion in as well. All right, so to go into some of the actual excursions to see how much they cost, what the times are. So I see several people on Facebook groups that are going on a specific itinerary. They want to know what the pricing is for these excursions, or they want to know what time the excursion is because they want to go explore that city on their own before or after. You can find that all here. So this is Bergen, Norway. All of these excursions. There's a lot. And this private excursion was sold out the first day. To view the excursions was open. It's just over $2,000. So if it's sold out immediately, I'm pretty sure that this excursion is not even offered. But it's something that can be offered. I guess it just depends on time of year, or maybe the company isn't offering excursions the dates that we're there, so this is listed as sold out instead of them just removing this excursion. They leave it up and just put sold out right here. Some people want to do the Mount Floyd hike, so we'll click on the learn more here. Gives you an overview of the top of Mount Floyd, gives you the date, the time that it starts at, so 8:45 a.m. It's a 4-hour excursion. It is active. It is listed as demanding, but you have to remember that people on Viking cruises tend to skew towards older, so 65 years of age and older. So for that age group, it can be quite demanding for some people. But if you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, even 50s, this demanding might be somewhat easy or moderate. It all depends on how active you are. You have a description right here. It also tells you what demanding means for Viking, but sometimes Viking's description of demanding isn't always accurate. You can select add to cart for person number 1 here and person number 2 here. If only one person wants to do it, you can select that person to do this excursion, and second person can go do a completely different excursion if they so choose. It also tells you up here when excursion booking actually opens. As you can see, $139 per person. I was in Bergen 2 years ago, and I took the funicular up to the top and walked the main pathway down. It took around an hour. $139 to do a walk, that's a little excessive price. So if you want, you can do a hike on your own. Tickets for a one-way ticket up is approximately $18 per person, and walk down is free. If you decide to take a taxi to the funicular building, you're going to pay maybe $20, something like that. So maybe paying around $60 approximately to get a taxi to take you to the building, to get the tickets and then walk down. Maybe you buy a coffee or some pastry up at top at the restaurant. You're maybe paying $100 max for 2 people if you do it on your own. With Viking, you're going to spend $280 per person. You can also download maps from Google of cities that you're going to be in. And if you want to do this walk on your own, you can go in a completely different direction than the Viking tour would. You can make the hike last 2-3 hours. Or if you want to do the same exact tour the Viking is, you can just do it on your own. So this leaves at 8:45 a.m. Maybe you want to leave at 9 o'clock. That's totally fine. If we go back, that same walking tour is offered here on embarkation day. Same price, starts at 5 o'clock p.m. So 4 hours, you're getting done at 9 o'clock at night. They may be stopping for dinner, but it doesn't say anything about a meal. And if I'm going to be on the ship at, let's just say, noon, why not just go and start the Mount Floyd hike on your own at, let's say, 3 o'clock instead of 5 o'clock? So just something to think about. There's also other companies that offer excursions that are sometimes cheaper or close to the same price, but you can choose what you want to see. Whereas Viking, they already have all the details of that excursion planned out. If you want to see something else, there's a good chance you may not be able to see it. Now we will come back to the extensions tile here on My Viking Journey. And this is where you can book extensions through Viking. They will pick you up from the airport and take you via bus to your hotel. Some of these extensions, you tour the city on your own. So Bergen here, I've done this extension. There are Viking reps at the hotel. They just give you maps and tell you attractions or restaurants that you can go to. So if you don't want to pay the $899 for 2 nights, you can just go and book this on your own and possibly save some money if you decide to go that route. But if you go over here to Oslo on the scenic train, some of these other excursions, like here, fully guided, they have excursions for you here in Iceland. significantly more expensive, but you're getting excursions. Where over here in Bergen, you're just kind of getting a hotel and some reps to give you ideas of what to do. If you decide that you want to basically do excursion, so let's see, are any of these? These are still open. You have post extensions as well. We have Great Homes Gardens and Gin extension. A second one, both of them are sold out. You have Best of London sold out. So let's see, Best of London. Go here. It gives you the price per person, gives you an overview of hotel nights, the meals, 3 breakfast, 1 dinner, 5 guided tours right here, fully escorted by your Viking tour director. All transfers are included. And here it gives you itinerary. London, day 1, disembark from your ship, head to all these places. Day 2, breakfast, you do all this stuff. Day 3, you do all of this stuff. And day 4, breakfast, check out your hotel, transfer to the airport. This is the hotel that Viking plans on using for this extension. And as you see up here, it's sold out. If you want to do this extension, you can still do this extension and stay at this hotel. The hotel gives Viking, let's just say, 16 or 20 rooms for this hotel. Once those 16 or 20 rooms are booked, this extension is listed as sold out. The hotel still may have 10 or 12 more rooms available for you to book on your own. You can use this itinerary to kind of plan out things. You will not get a transfer to or from the airport if you do this extension on your own. Here it's 3 nights. Maybe you decide to do 2 nights. Maybe you decide you want to make it 5 nights. You can make it whatever you want if you do it on your own. Or if you look up on Google the hotel that they're using, so this case, the Kimpton Fitzroy London, maybe you don't like that hotel. Maybe you find another hotel that's just as nice, that's closer to the attractions you want. Go ahead and book that. Or you can go ahead and book a nicer hotel. Completely up to you. If we go exit out of this, I already did this extension 2 years ago. Here, Viking Host is available to help you plan your time. The Bergen Bors Hotel, it's a nice hotel, but people complain about not having enough electrical outlets or the layout's kind of funky. I walked around a lot of Bergen. It's a pretty easy city to get around. I just went and booked this extension, but instead of 2 nights, I made it 1 night since I've already seen a lot of the touristy stuff. There's a hotel 1 block away from here that's even nicer than this hotel. I'm maybe paying $50 extra or $50 less than this. And even if it's $50 more, but the hotel that I chose actually has an airport transfer. All I would need was to pay for a taxi to the port on embarkation day. And I can still do all of this stuff right here on day 1, day 2 on my own. One thing I will add is if you're doing something like the Oslo and Scenic Train, one thing you may want to consider is on day 3, you check out your hotel, you board the Bergen Railway for your journey to Bergen. It's 5 or 6 hour train ride. So if you're not comfortable with booking your own train tickets and all of that stuff, you may want to book an extension like the Oslo and Scenic Train Ride extension. If you are comfortable booking your own train tickets and all that, you can just use this as a guide to understand what you need to do. Also, the main reason I only did 1 night is because let's just say there's an issue, a plane gets delayed. I have an extra day to actually get to Bergen if needed. Best case scenario, I get that whole 1 day in Bergen. Plus, embarkation day, you have all of these people coming from US, New Zealand, Australia, and maybe some other countries like Germany, Italy. They decided to do an extension there instead of the typical extensions here. They're flying in at all these different times from, say, maybe 11 o'clock in the morning all the way till 6, 7 o'clock at night. I can just check in to the ship at noon, 1 o'clock, get to my stateroom, get off the ship, and go explore on my own. That's a whole 2 days right there. Some people like to stay on the ship and explore the ship. I already know where everything is on the ship, so I can use this as my extra day to explore if I so choose. That's just another way to look at it if you decided to do an extension like this. All right, now we're getting down towards the bottom of My Viking Journey tiles. We will now go to Before You Go tile right here. This is where you can get to pages such as Comfort Check-In here, Prepaid Gratuities, Viking Voyager app, and Luggage Forward. Comfort Check-In right here. Here it just says Viking Comfort Check-In allows you to check in prior to your cruise. This will simplify the embarkation process and help to reduce the waiting time. And right down here, it gives you the days, hours, minutes, and seconds until you can start to do comfort check-in, which is a few weeks prior to embarkation day. Approximately 110 days prior to embarkation day. All you do is take a picture of yourself, which helps identify you for onboard purchases. And when you leave the ship or come back on the ship, you will also fill out some additional information so that the crew knows how to contact you. Say you're not back to the ship when it's getting close to leaving, they can use that information to realize Mr. Smith or Mrs. Smith is not back on the ship. They can send people out to look for you or try and contact you. I've seen several people freaking out about comfort check-in and what the heck is it? This is something you do not need to do. My first cruise with Viking, comfort check-in wasn't even an option from my understanding. My first cruise, my second cruise, it was an option. I did it and it took maybe 5 minutes off the check-in time. You do not have to do this at all. They will take your picture and fill in the information if you decide not to do this. And it takes maybe an extra 5 minutes, which takes away 5 more minutes of exploring the ship or getting lunch on the ship. If you're someone who's going to be super stressed out by doing this, don't even bother doing it. Let Viking handle it once you get there for embarkation day. I know some people that have done this prior to leaving for their trip. They didn't follow all the rules posted. Like they smiled and their mouth was open, for instance. Viking saw that and they had to retake the picture. So those people maybe spent 10, 15 minutes doing comfort check-in on their own. And when they got there, they had to redo it anyway. So totally up to you if you want to do this or not. Now going down to prepaid gratuities. This tells you how much you owe per person right here with a little description. And then all you have to do is add this to your cart. And you go back to the payments and cart tab, and that's where you pay for this. This is just add it to your cart. This cannot be purchased by one person in the room, as you see here. It has to be purchased by both people in the room. Next, we will cover the Viking Voyager app. This is the app that you can use on board the ship. So this is just a little explanation about it. It gives you the Apple App Store or the Google Play App Store right here where you can download it. You can book excursions or reservations at the specialty restaurants using this app, as well as see a calendar of what you have to do every single day, as well as some other stuff on the ship that you can do. The app doesn't always work the best from what I've heard from several people that have tried to use it on various trips. What you can do on the app is also available on your TV in your room, which works a little bit better. I have also seen some people who download this app and start complaining on Facebook groups that it doesn't even work prior to leaving for their trip. They'll say things like, why the heck did I download this? The app doesn't even work. It's useless. What some of these people don't realize is this app will only work once you are on the ship. You have to connect to the ship's Wi-Fi to gain access and use it around the ship. Once you leave the ship for any excursions, app doesn't work. Once you're at home planning for your trip, the app doesn't work. That's why we have My Viking Journey. We will now go on to the Luggage Forward. So this is a third-party vendor. They will come to your house and pick up your luggage for your trip and ship it directly to the dock or either the hotel that you will be staying in. Some people think it's a little too expensive, so it's up to you if you want to use it. Some people will put some items in the items they want to ship and forget that they actually need them prior to getting there. So something to just to keep in mind. I've never used it. I don't see the point in using it, but it's here for your convenience if you decide you want to use this. All right, now we will head down to the calendar. Here you have both people, you have the days of your trip up here. You have a little box you can add an extension. Instead of going to the extension tile, you can go add shore excursions here instead of going to that tile. Spa treatments instead of going there. Add dining. And down here is color coded for a shore event or a different color for an onboard event. And let's see, let's go day 2. Does not show it yet, but let's just say the ship is going to leave port at 2 o'clock p.m. There'll be a line that goes straight through here. It says ship leaves at this time. So if you decide to do an excursion on your own, you know you have to be back probably at 1 o'clock so they can plan on leaving on time. It'll show when your dining reservation. So if it's an onboard event, it'll show you have a dining reservation at 6 o'clock through, let's just say, 7 o'clock. If you have a spa treatment, it'll show, say, for me, say spa treatment at 10 o'clock. From 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock, it'll show a spa treatment here. And then let's say I have an excursion from 1 o'clock until 4 o'clock. There'll be a blocked out different color in this area here. Same will happen for the other person over here. All right, next we will head on down to our final tile here, the Onboard Experience tile. You will see all of these different tabs up here. We will start on dining and beverage. If we have the upgraded beverage option here, which is the Silver Spirits package, you will see how much it is per person, similar to if you clicked on shore excursion or in pre or post extension. You can click here. I've already purchased this, so I can request a refund, or you can click on add to cart if you haven't already added. It gives you a sample menu up here. Go through all this. You have the house wines, white, red, rosé, champagne, sparkling wine. You have the beer, got Norwegian beer down here. You have the normal beers you would find mostly in the US and some other countries. You have the aperitifs right here. You have the bitters. You have the long drinks right here. The prices are here. You have the clear spirits right here. You have the whiskey section right here. You have the liqueurs right here, followed by the brandy and cognacs. Here you have the martinis and classics. The prices, the martinis and classics are continued down here. You have the cocktails right here. My favorite that I've started drinking on my last cruise is the Rusty Nail, but I never had the Silver Spirits package before, so I never decided to try anything else. More cocktails continued here. You have mocktails for anyone that wants an alcohol-free beverage. And here you have the soft drinks. Here we have some hot drinks, coffee. If you want to add a little whiskey or something, these are some things you can add, or you can build your own. And that is all for the menu. Go back to this. Gives you the discounts, what's included, all of that. One thing I forgot to add with the Silver Spirits package is on a lot of Viking Facebook groups, see a lot of questions about if this package is worth it. Do I need it? This package is quite cheap compared to other cruise lines from everything I've seen. And the actual prices, if you look at the menu I just showed, are pretty cheap compared to other cruise lines as well. So if you are someone who wants to drink one or two drinks a night, this package is not worth it for you. Just buy those drinks a la carte and you will be spending less money than you would on this package. If you like to purchase premium drinks or you like to drink 3 or 4 drinks a day outside of the dining hours, then you will probably want to purchase this package as you will be saving some money if that's the route you decide to go. Sodas are also included in every cabin with the lowest level veranda. You have sodas included, but they do not restock them. You can ask to have them replenished, but that'll be an additional charge, just so you're aware. Deluxe veranda and up, whenever you drink a soda or if you have alcohol included in your cabin, they will replenish those as you drink them. You can also bring aboard your own alcohol. So if you go on an excursion, purchase some beer, a bottle of wine, or hard alcohol, you can bring it on board and drink it in your stateroom or bring it to one of the restaurants and have them serve it to you. Viking is not very strict on that. They trust their guests. They do not care if you bring your own alcohol. So that is another way to save some money if you decide to go that route as well. Hopefully, this little talk about the Silver Spirits package helps you understand if it's something you should purchase or not. Next, we will scroll down to the Ocean Onboard Dining, where you can make reservations for Manfredis Italian restaurant or the Chef's Table. You have the restaurant here. You do not need reservations for this. You can just show up and you'll be seated relatively quickly, depending on if there's any staffing issues with sometimes there have been people that had to wait 30 minutes for seating just because they were short on staff, but usually you're seated fairly quickly. Let's go to Manfredis. There's a little description here. You want to make reservations. As you see, same thing as excursions. It gives you a date and time when you can make reservations. So click on reservations. Gives you an explanation of what Manfredis is all about. You come down here, you can select table for two. If you're someone who doesn't care if you sit by complete strangers, you can select a shared table. So when you show up, you'll be seated with someone completely random. If you have guests, maybe you invited 2 of your best friends on a trip or you invited 10 people, you can invite guests to sit with you. You will need to know their room numbers so you can add that to your reservation. Manfredis and the Chef's Table also have a dining room attached to the restaurants that's separate from the main dining room. It's a private dining room. So if you have, I don't know how many people can seat, let's just say 12, 14 people, you can decide to reserve that for your reservation. One thing I have come across is through Viking Facebook groups, when it comes time to make a reservation, a lot of people complain that the only times that are available for Manfredis or the Chef's Table are 8:30, 9 o'clock reservations. They don't want to eat that late. What most people don't realize is that Viking only posts approximately 35% of all of the reservations for Manfredis or the Chef's Table on My Viking Journey. That is because they don't want all 930 passengers to book 5:30, 6 o'clock, 6:30 reservations the first 2 or 3 nights, because that will overwhelm the wait staff and the cooks in the kitchen. So to avoid that issue, they only allow 30 to 35% of the reservations to be posted on My Viking Journey. If you do not like the times available, you can go to the desk at the restaurants or even at the World Cafe and request a different time once you board the ship. There's one time I had a 8:30 reservation. I just went to the front desk and asked for a different time and found like a 6:30 or 7 o'clock reservation. It's usually not that big of a deal, but A lot of people love to make a big deal about it because they don't understand how Viking operates in this manner. You can also book more than one reservation. If you're in a deluxe veranda cabin, for example, you only get one reservation per restaurant. You can book two if you want. You just have to go back to the front desk of that restaurant and ask. I went and had, I believe, a 6:30 reservation on embarkation day, and Manfredis was maybe 65% full during the most wanted time slots. Manfredi's one of the top specialty restaurants on the ship. It did not even get full at all during the most desirable times. So you can find seating times almost whenever you want. You just have to go and ask for it. If you don't ask for it, then you're not going to get a more desirable time. If we want, we can go up here to the sample menu. There's more, obviously, but there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different sections. You can select something from this section, something from this section here, this section, and this section. This doesn't even include the bread that they give you before all of this comes out, and it does not include the dessert that is offered after this. I got something from every single section here, and by the time dessert came out, I was so full, I had trouble finishing dessert. What I did not know is maybe you don't want a soup, or maybe you don't want a starter. Maybe don't pick something from the starter and just go soup, this section, and this section. Or maybe the main dish that you're going to have, like the steak or pork chop, let's say, maybe that's too big for you. You can ask for a half portion so you have some room for dessert. Before exiting out of this little tab here, I just want to cover the reservations everyone can get for the specialty restaurants. If you're in a veranda stateroom, you do not get a reservation prior to getting on the ship. You can go to the desk and ask for one once you get on board. If you are in a deluxe veranda stateroom, you get one reservation at Manfredis and one at the chef's table. If you are in a penthouse veranda, you get two reservations at Manfredis and the chef's table. If you're in a penthouse junior suite or the explorer suite, you get three reservations at Manfredis and the chef's table. And if you are lucky enough to book the owner's suite or get moved up to the owner's suite, you get four reservations at Manfredis or the chef's table. Now we will head down to the chef's table, which is right next to Manfredis, just opposite side of the ship. You're not able to do reservations now, but the way to make reservations is exactly the same as Manfredis. The amount of reservations is exactly the same as I discussed for Manfredis. Once you make reservations, you will not have a clue which menu you're signing up for. The chef's table menu changes every 3 to 4 days to something different. It says sample menu coming soon up here. I've never seen a sample menu up there. And if they do post a sample menu, it may only be for their Asian menu. So you may select a date for reservations and thinking you're getting the Asian menu, you may get a Mexican menu instead. So what I would tell you to do is once you get on board, go directly to the chef's table and look at each individual day to see what the menus are and see if that is exactly what you want to do. If you don't want to do the Asian menu, for example, and there is a Scandinavian menu, for example, or a Mexican menu, you can decide, I don't want to do the reservation for the Asian menu. I want to do the reservation for the Scandinavian or the Mexican menu instead. And you can change that. So you can have an Asian, a Californian, Caribbean, Nordic, Mexican, or several other themed menus with this. So just be aware that there are various different themes you can choose from. Just by choosing a reservation doesn't mean you'll get the theme that you want. So always check the menu board outside the restaurant once you get on the ship. One thing that not everyone knows about this specialty restaurant is that some people actually love eating at the chef's table. Other people cannot stand it. Personally, it's not my favorite, but it does have good food. I will eat here again, but it's not my favorite place to eat. If I had the choice, I don't really care if I eat here again. The portion sizes here are significantly smaller than what you get at Manfredis. You can ask for an extra helping of one of the servings. As you can see, there's a 5-course serving. I consider this kind of like a tapas bar. If there's something you do not like on the menu, you cannot ask for something different. You are served exactly what is listed on the menu. So that is something to be aware of. To me, it's kind of like a science experiment. They try to serve you things that you are familiar with, but they will serve them in a way that you have never seen before. So if you're someone who likes to eat beets, for example, instead of serving you actual beets, they may take beet juice and pour it over shaved ice, and that is a way of eating that. Or they may make a sandwich, but make it in a way that you've never seen before. It's a little odd, but it's experience it. Probably try at least once. With the portion sizes being quite smaller, I typically like to go up to the buffet before or after my reservation here and get a little more food just so I'm at least satisfied and full. If you make reservations here, you don't have to just eat here and then be left unsatisfied. You can go to a different restaurant and get some extra food if you want. Also, with each individual serving at the chef's table, that you will get a different wine pairing for each food item you are served. If that seems a little too much for you, you can just say, hey, I just want one glass of wine. That is all I have for the chef's table, and hope you enjoy this if you decide you want to make a reservation here. All right, next, moving down to the restaurant. You will get a little description here. If you show up here, you can be seated immediately. Do not need reservations here, as I explained earlier. You will need to wear dress pants or a nice dress to be able to eat here. If you show up in blue jeans, for example, majority of the time you will be turned away and told you need to go change your clothes. Sometimes they don't always enforce this, but most of the time they will. So if you want to eat here, you have to dress nicely. You don't have to wear a tuxedo like other cruise lines, but just dress decent. I did show up wearing blue jeans once just because completely forgot that I needed to wear dress pants. They told me to go back to my room and change. Came back 15 minutes later and we were sat at a table 5 minutes later. So whenever you come here, on the left, you will have the classics. These items are always available. Over here on the dinner menu, these items change every day or every couple of days, depending on where you're cruising to. So if there's some unique item you want to try from Italy or Greece, Norway, for example, I want a New York strip steak. I don't want anything over here. You can do that. Do a New York strip steak, but then come over here, dessert. Oh, this pink pavlova, I really want that, so I'll do that. But you don't have to stay all on this side or all on this side for your dining. You can swap back and forth between the two sides if you choose to do that. There's lunch. I've never eaten here for lunch, but these are some of the things you can get for lunch. And it is also open breakfast as well. I've never been here for breakfast, but you can go here as well for breakfast. One more thing to talk about. If you are in Italy, for example, these courses over here are usually the same courses you will find up in the World Cafe, which is known as the buffet. The only difference is if you want more of something over here, you have to ask for another serving. Whereas the buffet, you can just go and get extras at your own pleasure. So at the restaurant, you are served everything. World Cafe, you just go and get everything yourself. You cannot get sushi here like you can at the World Cafe. So you can just decide if you want to go to the World Cafe for dinner or if you'd rather come down to the restaurant, basically get the same thing. Now we will finish off on the casual dining. This tab shows all of the dining venues on the ship outside of the specialty restaurants and the main restaurant. Here you will find the World Cafe, which is the buffet. There's two main lines. There's a gelato station here. The gelato station is open for lunch and dinner, and you can get sushi here for dinner every single night. This is the place where you'll get most of your meals, but sometimes you can get sick of eating breakfast here or dinner here, and you can decide you want to go to one of the other restaurants on the ship just to change things up a little bit. Also, at the back, I think all of the ocean ships have Asian stir fry station. There might be one or two of the older ships that don't, but this Asian stir fry station is a place I like to go just when I want to change up my meal a little bit. Or seafood night, I can have them add in some ramen noodles or some with some of the seafood just to make it a more unique meal. We'll skip down to Aquavit Terrace. There's a bar at the back of the World Cafe, which is the Aquavit Terrace, which then extends out towards the infinity pool, which you can sit outside and eat in the nice weather. I can't speak for all Viking travelers, but me personally, I just consider the Aquavit Terrace the exact same place as the World Cafe. There's nothing special that really happens in this area unless they decide to have a pasta night or a seafood night or some other specialty dining night. They will set up in this area. But outside of that, it's just another extension to the World Cafe for seating purposes. Go back up here to Mamsen's. This is a small area that's basically part of the Explorer's Lounge, but is just slightly off to the side. It's a small little window where you can get traditional Norwegian breakfast waffles, as well as some other pastries and coffee, tea, and juices. So if you get sick of the World Cafe breakfast, you can hop on down to Mamsen's for breakfast and get something that's not always served at the World Cafe. It is open for lunch, where they have split pea soup and some open face sandwiches. And then at night, after dinner, they have snacks here. You'd have to look at the Viking daily paper, as the times can change for this restaurant. You may come down here one day and it'll be closed at 11:30 maybe, but another day it will be open. So just be aware of that. We scroll down to the Winter Garden. This is a place where you have afternoon tea. They have pastries, open face sandwiches here, along with teas. Outside of afternoon tea, this area is not used a ton. You will see some events happening throughout the day, but compared to other spaces on the ship, it is not used a ton. You can wander in here and just sit down, take a nap, or read a book if you decide. Go down to the pool grill. Let's say you go and check out the World Cafe for lunch. You don't really like what's offered there. You just want a burger or a sandwich. You can just come down to the pool grill, get some salad, a burger, and some fries for your lunch. This is right next to the pool, so if you're swimming, you don't want to get dressed in some nicer clothes to go to the buffet, you can just hop over to the pool grill. Pool bar is right across on the other side as well, so you can get your drinks there. The World Cafe is only about 20 feet difference from the pool grill, so it doesn't really make a difference as far as walking since they're not that far away from each other, but it's another option for lunch. Also with the pool grill, sometimes at night they will host specialty dining themes. So on my last cruise, they had a barbecue night where they had pulled pork, ribs, brisket, mac and cheese, corn on the cob, all these typical things you would find at a barbecue place. They might have a seafood night, so pay attention to specialty nights that they have here because it's a unique place to eat outside of the main restaurants. They can also turn this area into a venue for a dance party or movie under the stars as well. Now, if we go down to the kitchen table, this is actually an optional restaurant. It is not included with your fare. It is oftentimes part of an excursion where you will go shopping in a port with the head chef. You will taste some of the ingredients. You will get to learn about the ingredients, and then you will come back to the ship for lunch or dinner, and the chef will prepare the ingredients that you shopped for earlier that day. There's only maybe 10 or 12 spots, so it's totally up to you if you want to do this as an excursion. Sometimes the kitchen table isn't offered as an excursion, but they will offer it on a sea day for an optional dining experience. The cost of kitchen table for a sea day will be maybe half the price it normally is. And you just have to pay attention in the Viking Daily, and you can take advantage of that if you decide to do that. The last one down here is room service, which is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you just want to have a lazy day, you don't want to go to World Cafe, you can just call room service, like, I want a burger or something simple. Or if you're sick, another good way to get food. All right, now we will move over these tabs, go over to the spa tab. You click on the Nordic Spa link right here. This will show you everything that is included with your trip. So you have in the changing rooms, you have a sauna and cold plunge, which is nice to use. You have a snow grotto, which a lot of people like to experience. Get chilly, but it's fun. You have the fitness center, which is included. You have the hair salon, which is included. You have the thermal pool, which is where the snow grotto and the steam room are located. So this right here, where the dark blue pool is, that's a hot tub. And this larger pool it's not hot, but it's not cold. It's warm, maybe around 90 degrees. A lot of people like to sit here, and there's tile loungers you can sit on. All of this stuff is included with your fare. Just head on down there and experience it. The sauna, snow grotto, thermal pool, and steam room. It's one of my favorite places on the ship. Up here it says open from 8 a.m. to 8 o'clock p.m. If we go down here to spa treatments, again, there's a little red box here. It tells you when you can make reservations. It tells you if you can go hydrofacial for 50 minutes or 80 minutes. Nordic facial, same time periods. Northern stillness, 80 minutes or 110 minutes. Nordic restart, 80 or 110 minutes. Swedish deep tissue massage, 50 minutes, 80 minutes. Swedish mindful massage, 50 minutes or 80 minutes. And then you have the Arctic cure, which is 80 minutes. Each of these treatments has a little description what to expect. You click on learn more on any of these. You can make a reservation for each individual person, and it tells you the price right here for each treatment, and it goes a little more in depth. Now if we go over to the enrichment tab here you'll get a general description of Viking resident historians, world-class guest lecturers, TED Talks, destination performances, Munch moments, the Met live in HD, port talks, destination insights, the resident musicians on board, another description of the kitchen table, another description of the winter garden, the curated libraries on board the ships, and then covers the Viking Voyager app again. Don't really need to spend a lot of time here, but just a little overview of things you can do or experience on the ship. All right, next we will head on over to preferences here. As you see, you have stateroom preferences at the top and dietary restrictions. If we click on the edit button here for stateroom preferences, I see some people ask questions about the bed. Like my last cruise, and we wanted separate beds, but the beds were together. Right here, you can see, you can click on want the beds together or separated. And then each person has a list of things here. So if you have a feather allergy, need hypoallergenic bedding, robe and slippers, which are included, distilled water for a CPAP machine. If you have a room that has alcohol, you click no alcohol in minibar. You click you want a shower chair or you want a toilet seat riser. and then hit submit. So for my cruise, once I get on the ship, the beds should be separated and there should be distilled water in there. Okay, now if we go down to dietary restrictions here, you will see it is laid out very similar to the stateroom preferences. You have allergies up here, which you can select. You have allergies for fish, shellfish, nuts, peanuts, soy. Below that is food preferences. So you can say you want bland, diabetic, gluten-free, low carb, low fat, low calorie, seafood, mostly vegetarian, fruit, raw vegetarian, low sodium, salt-free, lactose-free, low protein, or vegetarian, and then you just click submit just like you would on the stateroom preferences. When you select something on here and go to a restaurant, the head chef or the restaurant manager should know that you have an allergy or you are diabetic or you can't have gluten. They should also be sitting down with you and going over a menu with you if you're at one of the specialty restaurants or at the World Cafe. They should be helping you decide what you should be getting, or they will get the food for you so you don't accidentally get something that you're allergic to, for instance. That is basically all there is for the preferences section. Now we will come over to the ship tab up here. If you click on the ship link here, it will give you an idea of what there all is on the ship. Got the living room, the main pool with a retractable roof, the infinity pool, which is right off of the Aquavit Terrace and the World Cafe. You have the theater, you have the Torshaven, which is a nightclub. There's guest services where you can talk about any issues or add excursions. You have the sports deck on the very top on deck 9. You have the Explorers Lounge. You have several different shops. You have the atrium. You have the bar, which is inside of the atrium or right off to the side of it. And it talks about how you can do Viking ship tours. For this, you would need to go to the main Viking website. Okay, now if we go down to deck plans, here is a little sheet with all of the deck plans. You can go over and make your page larger if this is difficult to read, but I personally wouldn't use this page to look at the deck plans. You can also find these on the main Viking website. So for this trip, I will be using the Viking Saturn. All I did was go to the main Viking website where it says ships, ocean ships, and I selected Viking Saturn right here. You have all of the other ships here. You have a 360-degree ship tour if you choose to do that as well. Here, you have Viking Saturn selected. Tells all the details of the ship, how many guests, small class ship, the year it was built, all that. And here you have the deck plans. You can see it's much larger than the other page. It shows you in red what level you are on, the features of the deck, and here you can click on everything. So let's see, the Nordic Spa, for instance, it gives you a picture of what it will look like once you walk into this area. We'll go to the living room. This is a little picture of the living room. And let's see, you want to go to, let's just say deck 4. Deck 4 is all staterooms. Say you want to check out a suite. So if you click on the Explorers Suite, it'll give all of these pictures of what it looks like. So if you decide you want to look into purchasing one of these, gives you the layout of everything that's included in the suite. This is Deluxe Veranda. Pictures here of what you get with the Deluxe Veranda. Same rundown of everything that's included as well right here. Deck 7, you can see World Cafe. This picture is basically the Aquavit Terrace. If you go out here to the right, it takes you to the outside portion of Aquavit Terrace and the infinity pool. As you can see, World Cafe is here. The pool grill is right here, right next to the pool. Aquavit Terrace is right here with the infinity pool hot tub. If you're someone who is looking for handicap accessible rooms, there are a few here on deck 6. If you look There's a blue dot right here. Stateroom 620, 621 are ADA staterooms. Room configuration varies. Ask for details. So if you look here, the gold rooms, there's a blue dot right next to those rooms. I believe there's only 2 rooms on the entire ship that are ADA accessible. Just so you're aware, if you book any other rooms, you will not have the ADA accessibility, but there are a few rooms that are available if you request them. Now, if we go down to the additional information, see emergencies, some information here, medical services, information, wheelchair access, additional information as far as safety on board, the smoking policy, and visitors on board, which visitors are not allowed to come on board, unfortunately. Now we will finish up on this onboard experience tile by heading over to the stateroom tab. Here we click on the phone services box. It's that each stateroom has its own phone, and charges will be placed on your shipboard account if you make calls outside of the ship. It gives you information on placing international calls, numbers you have to dial into your phone to make these calls, and you can also get services from your own phone company so you don't have to deal with any unexpected charges. At the end here, it just gives you a little note to remember that most of the countries you will be visiting are 6 hours ahead of Eastern time schedule most of the year. So I know you're on vacation, you're excited, you want to call someone and talk about what you experienced. It might be 3 o'clock in the morning their time, but you think it's a good time to call them without realizing what the time difference is. It's kind of nice that they have this little bit of information to let you understand that you may make some people upset if you decide to call them at a very early time in the morning. Next, if we go down to stateroom services, it'll talk about internet access. There is Wi-Fi included on the ship, and depending on where in the world you're traveling to, the Wi-Fi could be really good or it could be almost non-existent. So just be kind of aware of that, as if you're someone who likes to upload videos to YouTube or something, or use Facebook or whatever, you may have issues doing that depending on where you are in the world. Also, onboard activities in the Viking Daily. Viking Daily is a piece of paper that tells you all of the activities that are happening on board for that day or the next day. It also shows you the times that you have to leave for all the excursions. So if you're freaking out what time you have to leave for excursion or what venue you're supposed to meet at for your excursion. All of that is in the Viking Daily. And also there's some additional information about money exchange or some little information about things you might want to know about a country you're visiting that day or a city you're visiting. Now, if we go down here to the electrical outlets and adapters, you probably will want to bring along an adapter for the countries you're going to. You most likely will not need them for the ship if you're coming from a US, but if you're doing a pre or post extension, you probably will want an adapter just to be safe to charge your phone or anything else that you may need to charge. You have a US Type B plug, which shows a picture here in your stateroom, 110 volt and 115 volt socket. There's also a Euro plug Type C outlet in your room as well as a USB-A port where you can charge phones and other things via this port. So just be aware, in your stateroom, there are all of these types of plugs available. You do not need to use an adapter for your room unless you want extra charging capabilities. Also up here, there's a little link that you can click that tells you all of the prohibited items that you're not allowed to bring on to the ship. All right, that is basically it for My Viking Journey, but I wanted to go over just a little additional information. There's some information that you cannot find in any of these tiles or the name up here. If you go over to the left here, you will see this box with 3 lines. You will click on it and find some information. You have home, which we're at right now, payments cart, manage my air, travel requirements, guest documents, shore excursions, extensions, before you go, calendar, onboard experiences, which are all tiles here. You can get to them here, but it's obviously much easier just to click on these little picture tiles over here. You have your count. You have another frequently asked questions link. You have a quick start guide if you need that. But you also have this booking summary right here. If we click on that, it'll give you a map of where you're going, countdown of the days, all of the information we covered, booking number, cruise dates, the guest, your itinerary, direction, air departure, air return, the ship you'll be on, and your stateroom if you went and decided you wanted a specific stateroom. That will be shown right here. My parents' previous trip, I wanted to write a little note in their phone what their stateroom was, just in case they forgot, since some people can get lost or forget what their room is once they're on the ship. Your room number is not printed on your room card, so it's a nice idea to have your room number written down as a little note or have a little picture in your phone so you can find it on the ship if you ever get lost. I knew this little information right here was available prior to the trip. I decided to come on here to get this information a week prior to their sail date. That did not work out very well, as My Viking Journey closes down all of this information a week prior to embarkation day, so you're not able to see anything on here. I had to then go through my father's emails to find the final statements, documentation, and go through several pages of information just to find out what room they were on. I was able to find it, but it's easier to save you some time just to come on here several weeks before you leave, and you can find your room number right here. I knew about My Viking Journey closing all the information 7 days prior to leaving, but I had a lot of other stuff going on. At that time, completely forgot about that, and fortunately just had to use the longer method to find all that information out. So just want to throw this in here to help hopefully save you some time. So that is it for everything that you should need to know on My Viking Journey. I know this has been a really long video with all the information we covered. I just wanted to say thank you for taking the time to go over all of this information with me, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope this helps make all of your planning for your upcoming Viking trip a lot easier. With that being said, I hope you have a great day and enjoy your travels in the future. Thank you again.